What is up, guys? Welcome to another live session. Today is November 12th, 2019, and we're back at it again on the charts. And it is a Tuesday, so we have some movement, and we are in the right side of the movement, and we're in some profits. Let's start it off with EURUSD. So this is a trade we took last week Thursday, and we caught around, I think, this initial push. We went around 40 pips into profit before we had this retrace. This retrace was on Monday's session, and I drew these fibs for you guys to tell you guys that Euro can retrace to this level of 38.2 and then continue going lower. And lo and behold, that is what happened. And currently we're sitting at 60 pips. Yeah, when we came up here, I actually entered another position because we got the rejection we wanted. And so nothing else to say. It's just price action and just using key levels, using fibs, and your intuition. So we knew the short play was there. We took it, and we knew that there's a very, most of the time price isn't reversing. It's usually going with the trend, and that's why I'm always confident with holding trades through longer periods of time, especially when we're trading with the trend. So we took the short when it was a bear. This retrace did not scare me one bit, especially since we were coming back to retest an hourly support. If I zoom out, you can see, it's a pretty good level for Euro on the 4-hour time frame. We came up there. It's also at the 38.2, and we're going lower. So our overall target, as we discussed, is 1.09600. I think we're about 50 to 60% there. Just let it run. Our entry, we have stops at entry. You could put stops, at 10 pips profit if you want. But I don't think Euro's going to retrace all the way up there. Unless we do have some NSD news at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So 10 hours from now, we will have this, a lot of New Zealand news, the rate statement, monetary policy, press conference. So it could affect the Euro. It could. It depends which way it goes, what they say. But with stops at entry or 10 pips profit, we're just going to let this trade ride out. Another setup we talked about and we entered shortly after yesterday's live was gold short. And it's looking good. We're in profit. Yesterday we hit TP1 for sure. We actually went 80 pips into profit. But yeah, I'm just going to let this trade play out as well. The only issue with this is I don't like how it's just printing some hammers. I really thought, once we entered, we were going to get a nice fat bearish closure down, somewhere down here to let us know we're going lower. But I've taken partials for my 50% position, and my stops are entry. So we secured what we could, and we're just going to let it play out. But don't be surprised if we do get stopped out at entry. If we do, we'll just look for, some sort of rejection again to go lower. In yesterday's session, I talked about this very specifically. When we were at this candle right here, I told you guys. Let me actually go to the 1 hour. Yeah, so on the 1 hour, this was the exact candle where we went live. And gold made that sudden push below 14.59, and I told you guys don't ever enter a trade after a big push. Wait for that retrace. And ideally we wanted to get up to here, but I just took a peek at the charts and I think that was as high as it was gonna get. And if we just do our due diligence and just adjust our level in the smaller time frame to these wicks right here, we can see that we did come up there. So yeah, these key levels that I draw, you can always adjust on the smaller time frame. But if we just move our blue line to this wick right here and these two wicks here, we can see it's an hourly support for gold, and that's where you retrace to. Originally we thought it'd go a bit higher because this line we drew was from the higher time frames. But when you get to lower time frames, you can kind of adjust them. But we got our entry, pretty nice zero drawdown entry. We had a pretty decent retrace, but nowhere close to our entry. And then we had a nice push. This is the exact candle that I did not like in terms of price action, because we just moved down a lower. You can kind of see we've created some support in this area. I'll get on my horizontal rate to show you guys. So this is where we rebounded. We kind of established support here, and we have rejected again to that level. So gold is having a hard time closing below 1448.90. It's having a pretty hard time right now to close below that. So do take that into consideration. And as we speak, we're printing another hammer. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get stopped out at entry in the next few hours. But gold, gold it's very elusive in the way it moves. Sometimes you can print a bunch of hammers but still melt. That's why you don't always buy when there's a hammer, and you don't always sell when there's a shooting star. You just look for multiple confluences. Because we have profit already in this trade taken and stops at entry, it's not going to hurt us to hold this trade per se. Might lose that bit of profit that we're holding on to, but it's worth gaining the rest. If you're risk aversive, you can go ahead and close out. That's fine as well. But I think the short's there, and there are some sellers there. We could have easily made a rally here and even here, so we're still having some sellers push down, and it's only Tuesday, so let's see what's happening. I think tomorrow we have some USD CPI. So tomorrow the CPI data, which is expected to be better than forecasted, 0.3%, 0.2%, could be the catalyst to actually just push this down. So we could very well consolidate just above this level, right below our stop loss, before that CPI data. So pretty decent. Yeah, these are two setups we're taking right now, and we're going to hold. And another setup I wanted to possibly take today was Euro Yen short. Let's pan out. So yeah, it's printing my favorite candle. It's the teardrop candle. I'm going to remove this long idea since we got stopped out at entry a few weeks ago. But yeah, Euro Yen has failed to go any higher. Our last previous long, we ran around 70% of our expected target of 121.726. Now we've created some resistance here. Let me try to draw this. So let me pop down lower. So we've created some resistance. A lot of wicks, failures to go higher at 121.350. And also some support at 120.300. And so right now, Euro Yen is breaking below that and is printing a teardrop candle. So to me, it's telling me that we're going lower. And just looking at a daily, I feel like this this break of this descending trend line that we dropped before was probably an impulse break from the the U.S. and China reaching an agreement for phase 1 of the trade deal. So this is when the safe havens lost some of their strength, but I think the yen's gonna take over Euro Yen, and we can short it. So looking to the left, we can see it's a pretty good level that we're closing below. We can see Euro Yen has gone out of its way to wick here before, use as support here, use as support here. And I'm more than confident to enter short. And if we just look to the left, starting as recent as here, in July when we closed below 120.300, we went lower, ignoring this wick, moving over here. When we closed below 120.300, we went lower. Similar story here, and I guess you guys get the memo. So let's look for some sort of entry. Let's pop down to the 4 hour, see what's happening. So on the 4 hour, we can see the support we've created right here at this level we're talking about. And so we could short it right now. The best entry would probably be a close below, right? This last low. This last low if we can get a close below it, that'd probably open up the floodgates to go lower. And we did have a wick. The price went out of its way to wick here. He made a rally. Next time it came, stalled and went back up. So obviously, for some reason, this level 120.132 is some level of significance, and it's also the past low. So what we want for our short, and we'll go to the daily to get more targets, but for now what we want is a closure, a bearish closure. So this is obviously not a bearish closure. You just got a wick. We want the body of the candle to close below 120.150. Okay, and I know I'm changing the numbers, but it's just an arbitrary level. If you want the exact level, it's 120.138. I usually tend to round it to the nearest tenth, but 120.138, that area we want a bearish body closure below to take us lower, with the first target being 119.810. And when we go to the daily time frame, we can get some more targets. So on the daily, you can just decide, pick my targets. I look for prices. I look for key levels, so resistance, support, or just areas where price has stalled or wicked out of its own, went out of its own way to wick. And so right here will be a nice place to have our second take profit. Right where these, we created this double top, would be a nice place. So 119.217, and then the last take profit we can target is this support down here. A lot of wicks. So you can see why it's a support. And if we show you this short trade, our stop loss could be, very conservative. So for example, if we have this set up 2.59, our stop doesn't have to be this big. It really doesn't. But just if you want to be conservative, you're still getting a good setup. I want a tighter stop than this, obviously. So on the 4 hour, when we go down here, one second. Trading View needs a maintain aspect ratio thing. Seriously. Yeah, so if we get that entry, that bearish closure below here, we're probably going lower, right? We're definitely getting the first target, and that's 40 pips away. I'm trying to extend this out. So actually, that's 20 pips away. Okay, our first target. I'll see whether we can adjust it, but that's 20 pips away. Actually, our entry would probably be somewhere up here. Yeah, 25 pips away would be our first entry. My bad. Our entry would be somewhere here, 120.100. Our first take profit would be 119.810. And you can see if I close this down, our stop loss, if we get this closure below here, our stop loss could be, somewhere here. Because if Euro Yen closes down here, but some way it pops all the way back up and clears this previous high, then either it's fundamentally driven or, we got faked out, or whatever the case may be. Euro Yen, if it closes above this level, it's probably going higher. So that's why we're going to have our stop loss pretty conservative, and it can even be a bit tighter. But, stop loss at 120.70, and our entry would be at 120.100. That's a 60 pip stop. That's pretty good. I think our average is around 40 to 50 pip stop loss. So this is not bad for a 3.9 risk reward ratio trade. So this is where we're going to look out for Euro Yen. I'm going to stop moving my mouse so you guys could plot these levels down. I highly suggest you plot it on the portal first and then onto your trading view, so you don't have to worry about two tabs open. If you have two screens, then go ahead, you can do that. But so yeah, this is what we're looking at. We're pretty close to an entry. We're just gonna wait for that. Do not use a limit order, because you could very well get wicked into this sell, and it could pop back up. So wait for that manual price action of that bearish body closure. Taking a quick peek at the chat. What's up, Marcin? What's up, guys? What's up? Should say morning to you guys every day. Guys and gals. Is it guys and gals? Hope so. So yeah, we have two setups. I took a peek. I didn't really find anything intriguing other than euro yen. We talked about pound yesterday. It hasn't really done much. It has done what we said, where when we talked about pound gapping up, and this was the exact candle where we had the discussion. We could very well just be retracing this previous hourly resistance and come down lower. That's what's happening. So just a recap of our past sessions, we wanted a close below 1.28 thousand to go lower. What had happened was Friday, I think 2 hours before the market closure, we did get that. But we don't enter trades on Fridays, especially not that close to the closure. Over the weekend, it gapped up apparently due to some beneficial news for Brexit or Boris Johnson. And so since then, we've come back down. And so once again, we're just waiting for that closure below 1.28 thousand to go lower. And I expect lower we go. But yeah, so this is still pending. Just a quick update. Let's take a look at USD yen. We talked about a short yesterday, but that obviously did not get activated. We wanted the closure below this level right here, 108.860. Never got it. But we can come down there, anytime soon. Obviously, as gold drops, USD yen rises, so that's why we didn't get that trade. So, pretty quiet Tuesday, but it's great that we're in profit and we have a pending setup in euro yen on the table. So, I think this is a good point to end off today's session. Actually, let's look at Bitcoin. Why not? We make it a habit. At the end, we'll look at Bitcoin, see what's up. And we'll regroup tomorrow. Tomorrow will be pretty crazy. The CPI data is going to be a major market mover. Might trade the news. So Bitcoin has kind of done what we wanted from this previous break to the level we drew in yesterday's session. So if I zoom in, this horizontal ray at 8,700 is something we drew in yesterday's session. It's where Bitcoin has created some 4-hour support, and a break below would probably indicate we're going lower to 7,500, and we did get that. So this candle is an indecision candle. If you're always wondering what's a bearish closure, this, for example, is not. It's the hammer. This is an indecision candle because you have pretty much an equal wick to the top and bottom. But if the next candle is a nice fat bodied bearish candle, we're probably going lower. But yeah, I think that's a nice spot to end it off. Tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. the chaos will begin. So just make sure this is today. Let's talk about today actually. Today NSD. Just to recap, tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. My fault. It's usually 8:30 a.m. but 9:30 a.m. we have the CPI data and Powell speaking at 12. So just a word of caution. I'll let you guys know in the morning what we're gonna do with euro and gold. But yeah, I might be trading this news if I am available to send out what trades I'm taking. I'll let you guys know. The reason why I don't do that is because during 5 minutes to the news release, because of spreads increasing and different brokers, some of your sell limits might be activated, or while mine haven't, or vice versa. So it's just trading news is something you should master on your own, but you can definitely practice on your demo account. But if you're trading it, make sure you don't risk too much. Have a tight stop loss. And so I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we can discuss this data, and we'll see how our trades are doing then. So I'm RP Forex. I'm logging off. Another great session. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.